but there was something about being able to draw pictures and tell stories through pictures that I really glommed onto. My name is Dean Haspiel. I'm a cartoonist that lives in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a native New Yorker. I have a faint memory of remembering at age 12 that I would dedicate my life to comic books. I think it was the format. It was the idea, and you don't know this as a kid, but later on when you discover, oh, it's a blank piece of paper that you can create universes on with a pencil. And you can investigate these characters that you create or these universes you build. And it starts with reading other characters and other universes. I was probably more into like George Perez or like John Byrne. I remember really liking C.C. Beck. C.C. Beck drew and wrote Shazam. But there was something about the eloquence and the way and the simplicity or the sophistication of the simplicity of C.C. Beck's work that years later I'd be like, that's who I was looking at a lot back then. First, I was just like, oh, I hope I get to pencil the Fantastic Four, a Marvel comic, a DC comic. And then because I wasn't good enough, and I would even hazard to say I'm still not good enough, you know? But that doesn't stop you. If it's your calling, if it's something you need to do that you have to do, you find a way. Again, it's a blank piece of paper. Exploit the real estate, the narrative real estate of that space, you know, and tell your story. You know, no permissions, no apologies. You just got to do it on your own, right? Because what you realize when you're drawing comics is that you are writing as well. You are the co-author as the artist in comics because storytelling is in the images, is being visualized, right? So it's a collaboration, that marriage of word and picture. So I started to make my own little comics. And I co-created a character called The Verdict with Martin Powell. Martin Powell lived in Kentucky. And I met him through like a chain letter kind of situation. Today we have the internet, but back then you would discover like through a comics rag or a magazine that there were people like, you know, writing to each other and sharing each other's comic book ideas, right? And we kind of like, I don't know, pitched it to a publisher, Eternity Comics, which was a local small press publisher in Brooklyn. And we pitched this series, 4-issue series. It's greenlit, we're drawing it. And I remember going to St. Mark's Comics and seeing my comic book for sale on the racks. I felt legit, you know, like that felt real. At some point, Tom Akel was working at Webtoon, and he came to me at a Comic-Con and he said, hey, I love your stuff. Could you pitch me some ideas? And I went, okay. So I pitched him 3 ideas, and he really liked the Red Hook one. And then I was talking to some studio mates of mine, Seth Kushner and Vito Del Sante, and we were expanding on this idea of like, well, what if we put a bunch of our characters in this space? But then something weird happened. For about a week, somebody replaced the American flags with white flags on the Brooklyn Bridge. And people were like, well, what just happened? What does that mean? Personally, I thought it meant that Brooklyn gave up and was waving the white flag. Why did he give up? Because it was heartbroken and pissed off at the toxicity of the world. And then I realized that Brooklyn is sentient and alive. And she was about to break apart and abandon that part of society and start her own republic. So I told my friends, I was like, I think it's New Brooklyn. Red Hook lives in New Brooklyn. Your character, Seth, had the Brooklynite, lives in New Brooklyn. Vito and I co-created a character called the Purple Heart, lives in New Brooklyn. So I come back to Tom, I'm like, okay, I got this Red Hook idea, but I also have 2 more characters too, and in this universe called New Brooklyn. He loved it. He fought for it, and I came back and I got 3 series going, you know? But that was a fun time, like a real autonomous time for me, you know? In a lot of ways, the Red Hook is my love letter to superhero comics. Yes, you have to compete with people's attention and time is a commodity, but you show up to your own party, you dedicate to a schedule, and if it's like drawing 4 panels a week, draw 4 panels every week. Like tell your story that you need to tell, and don't worry about whether people like it or not or whatever, or you get some backlash. Just be honest, be truthful in your story. Even when you're fictionalizing something, be truthful. We literally have the bandwidth out there to make any comic you want, you know? And once you make it, tell people about it. Don't be shy. You're wasting your time. But yeah, man, it's just a piece of paper. You can build a whole world right in this one little space. That's a beautiful moment.